speaking after our great win against Manchester City. And look, a lot will get lost in translation about United fans making noise and giving the job and it was amazing United DNA. But he did just literally say, like, it's one game. It should be enough to give us a platform / springboard to continue. But obviously, I'm going to wax lyrical in a second. But as a neutral, what did you make of Michael Carrick's Manchester United against City on the weekend?
I thought they were brilliant. Obviously, I wanted Manchester United to win, which isn't something I've said too many times down the years, but I really wanted them to get the result. And I got to be honest, when it got to half-time, I was kind of wondering if it was going to be one of those days where the performance was great, but you don't take full advantage of it, and City come out in the second half and basically punish you for your sort of... You're being wasteful, basically. But at the end of the day, Man United, once they found that first goal, you knew it was one-way traffic and that they were heading for the victory. And you got to give Carrick praise. I'm sort of wary of giving him too much praise, not because I want to take anything away from him, but because I just think he did some really basic things. And that's what was necessary. So full praise to him for that. I just think what I take away from it is not so much Michael Carrick is a genius. It's more, what on earth was Ruben Amorim doing all this time? Yeah. Because he had players playing out of position. He had a system that he was dead set on that just wasn't working, that this group of players could not adapt to. Michael Carrick's come in, gone back to basics. I know it's a really simplistic bit of analysis. And all of a sudden, Manchester United click, and the talent that they have within their squad is now visible for everyone to see. Whereas for months prior, you're watching Bruno Fernandes play deep in midfield. You're watching Amad Diallo play as a wing-back. You're watching all these things that just, in your mind, don't make sense. Yeah. They don't compute.
They hurt your eyes to watch.
Yeah, it's like putting I know this old phrase, putting a square peg in a round hole. You're looking at it, it doesn't fit. Yeah. It just doesn't fit. And for whatever reason, he was adamant that was the way he was going to go. And in comes Michael Carrick. I think Ruben Amorim probably lost the faith of the players because over that period of time, they're probably thinking, this isn't working, why are we still persisting with it? Fresh ideas, fresh view on things, fresh message, and bang, look what's happening.
Yeah, Lisandro Martinez, labelled it unbelievable what Michael Carrick was able to do in the 3 days, but along with his coaching staff. He literally said unbelievable, the message they had and what they asked us to do and to get us to do it. And I agree. Look, I think from a United fan perspective, I think these days are really important because you've been watching Dross for so long. I've forgotten what it felt like to get excited. I've forgotten what it's like to be in control of a match from the beginning to the end, to dominate your opposition physically, tactically, output-wise, XG, every department or metric that you are involved in football, whether you're one of the tacticos that are like all of these numbers and all that, or whether you're just eye test, or whether you're just vibes. In every facet of being a fan or watching the game, we were superior to Manchester City. And I've not seen that, forget against Man City, I've not seen that against any opponent in God knows how long. We've had wins against Liverpool away. We've beaten Manchester City away last season. We've beat Arsenal in the FA Cup, and we've had some decent, standout, significant wins, but never in that manner. There were always little caveats where you go, yeah, but you just 100% know United. Yeah, that was just lucky, or they did all right to hang on in there. But if on another day, when we beat Liverpool, for example, they hit the post like 2-3 times. You got to ride your luck a little bit. There was just no luck involved in that. Just simplicity, dynamism, bravery, and go and express yourself and being set up right. It has led, obviously, to the talk immediately. Obviously, not just from United fans, but just in general of, well, if they keep, obviously it's one game, but if they keep going and achieve the objective of getting into Europe, is there any point changing? You may as well just give Carrick the job and let him go from there. We've tried every other single type of manager. Do you go back to the club man who's an up-and-coming coach who looks like he's got what it takes with the right support? Or should Man United not be looking to give Michael Carrick the job, in your opinion?
I think you've got to just keep your powder dry as a football club and not commit either way at this stage. Because, listen, Michael Carrick could do a lot of good. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did a lot of good at one stage, but then it became apparent that he wasn't quite at the level required. And that might come through regarding Michael Carrick in time. We just don't know at this stage. Early. But also it depends on who's available. If you're sitting there saying it's Michael Carrick or Luis Enrique, then you think, okay, well, that's a no-brainer. It's easy. You bring in Luis Enrique. But if it's Michael Carrick or a middle-of-the-road Premier League coach, with all due respect, then maybe you are more inclined then under those circumstances to give him the job. My worry about Carrick, and it was the same worry I had about Ollie, and it was the same worry I had when Amorim came in as well, is that when you go and bring in coaches who don't necessarily have the Manchester United pedigree already, what they're doing is they're coming in with a mindset of, I'm so grateful to be here. I'm going to have to impress on the pitch, obviously, but I'm also going to have to impress my superiors upstairs. I'm going to have to do what they want me to do. I'm going to have to be dancing to their tune because I have to show some sort of thanks for you giving me this job and trusting in me. Whereas when you've got that record and you've got that pedigree already, you're coming in with an attitude of, no, they brought me here because I'm what they need. And I'm going to push back and I'm going to challenge. And one of the things I haven't liked about Manchester United in recent times, under Ineos as well, is the structure. I don't like the structure. I don't like the idea of Jason Wilcox going and telling Ruben Amorim, you got to play this way or that way. I don't like that. I don't like some of the messaging that comes down from the club's hierarchy, or that has been coming down over the last year or so. And I just worry that someone like Carrick will be eaten up by that, whereas someone a bit stronger...
Yeah, they'll come out against the establishment, or have enough authority to command, and experience to navigate
make sure
around
that if it goes wrong, they come out and they make sure the people that are responsible for it are thrown under a bus.
Yeah, and obviously I don't think Michael Carrick would do, like you said, it's a big step up for him. For me, I'm not getting involved in any of that talk because, like you say,
it's too early.
You talk about the PTSD from the Arsenal side of things, of being scarred and this for title race. That's me as a United fan, but for different reasons. In terms of, I've been here before. Ex-player comes in, Livoli, 17 games on a bounce, amazing, best away form in the league. We're counter-attack, everything's great. And then you realise that the job is too big. I just think we need to refrain from doing that. Just let the games play out. Let the games play out. See where we get to. And I'm with you. I want us to get a best-in-class manager. We've tried everything. So we're in the fair game of trying everything. There isn't really one thing we haven't tried yet. So for me, I think we need to go back to having a big, serious manager, like you say, Enrique, Tuchel, Nagelsmann, someone who commands the respect and knows what it is at the top level. And if you can't get that, then we do have to look at other alternatives. But I will look at that then. And I'm also very cautious. Call it skeptical, call it pessimistic, call it scarred. Like, this is one game. Unbelievable from Michael Carrick, unbelievable from the team. Let's see what we do against Arsenal. Let's see what we do against Fulham at home. Let's see what we do against Spurs at home. Let's see, because we got one game a week and that was a big, big start, but we've seen so many false dawns. And even if it is positive against Arsenal, still, it's 2 games. Just relax. And we can't be in this position where we're so swayed emotionally. And I put myself in this because I've been in it. You just don't know how to feel. And like I said, I was clapping a 0-0 at half time. That's the depths where I've been. I said, do you know what I mean? So for me, just let Carrick work. I see him, and I don't mean this in a condescending way. I see him as, like, at the minute, my vision of him is he's good for us now, and he's almost like a baton holder. You know, in the 4x1, everyone has their turn, and you take it for the 100 metres and you pass it on to the last guy and he takes it home. I kind of see it like that. Now, football can change very quickly, I understand that, but for me, it's one game, it was brilliant, it was City at home. Let's see what we do against Arsenal, game by game.
Well, to be at the top level now, you have to be a motivator. You have to be really good at managing the media. You have to be someone that can sort of pull on good feelings, but you also have to be an elite tactician. And Carrick has come in and he's simplified things, and he's been able to draw on the good vibes, if you like, and he's been able to get a tune out of people just in terms of their feelings. He's obviously created a better atmosphere at Old Trafford in coming in. That's not all down to Carrick, though. That's in part because of the change that's happened as well. But the tactical thing, we're going to have to judge him down the line.
Exactly.
And
that's not enough games yet.
Exactly. And that's why you can't say from now that Carrick should get the job, because we all looked at Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and thought exactly the same thing. Understands United, was a winner here, has that credit in the bank with the supporters, has made the mood better. But when it came to tactically, at the highest level, he was found out.
Exactly.
And that's where Carrick has to prove himself. Now, I wouldn't rule him out.
Yeah.
I wouldn't sit here and say, because Ole Gunnar Solskjaer didn't work out, that Michael Carrick won't work out.
I'm not going to lie, my PTSD says that.
Yeah,
that's how I feel.
fine.
But you're right, I'm probably wrong to be like that. because I'm struggling to have the open-mindedness that far down the line. But you're probably right.
Yeah,
You've got to let it play out.
I think you've got to be open-minded to a degree, but there's the difference between being open-minded and away with the fairies and thinking that
give them the job now.
Yeah, exactly. So I think you've got to find that balance.
But I'm not going to lie, Harry. We never win at the Emirates. If that performance looks like that against City, and we beat you convincingly, which never happens to you. You ain't lost a game at the Emirates this year. Just saying, mate. You
don't do that to us at the Emirates.
I agree with you.
But if we do expose Arsenal in the way that you expose Manchester City, because structurally Arsenal
it just doesn't happen. But we could still beat you 2-0.
You could.
You're listening to the Social on talkSPORT 2. Next up, we're going to check in with William Hill.